On today's show, Anthony Davis, what are our expectations for him after this new injury, surgery, whatever he's got coming up? And the Mavericks are already holding Cooper Flagg back from his full potential. Talk about that on today's Locked On Mavs. Stop it! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great,
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being in every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen. Joining me for the great Slightly Biased YouTube channel, the post-game prodigy. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
I've started to, feel for any injury news. So just thinking about my guy AD and, recovery, brothers.
That's right. You get naps. You get naps in recovery. Getting all.
Took a 3-hour nap earlier. I don't know. My
Getting
doctor's like, if you need to sleep, sleep. That's what my doctor said. So I said, all right.
Hey, there you go. Take it. That's right. Do what the doctor says. Anthony Davis is going to do that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some expectations for Anthony Davis this year. And then I went to summer league practice today. Heard from Cooper Flagg. Heard from Coach Broghammer. Heard from all kinds of people. And the Mavericks, Cooper Flagg is proven to be a sicko, and he's making me more excited about the Mavericks right now. And so we'll talk about all that. But let's start with this slightly. I think the biggest news today is that Shams Charania, kind of out of nowhere, which I guess this is going to be the norm with Anthony Davis sometimes. Shams Charania reports Dallas Mavericks All-Star Anthony Davis underwent a procedure to repair a detached retina he suffered during the season. Sources tell ESPN Davis played through multiple hits to the face last year. He is expected to be healthy for next training camp. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor. Talk to some that are. And this is weird. This seems weird to me. A detached retina can be as benign as some blurry vision and just some uncomfortability in your eye. It could be all the way up to blindness. There is a spectrum of what this could be in so many different ways. I reached out to Brian Suderer, who does the great YouTube channel. He's a sports medical doctor that we have on all the time. And he said it is weird that it's happening now, that they're doing this procedure now. But he said it could just be a delayed diagnosis. They could not have known. It may not have been as serious, that kind of stuff. It is a very strange thing. Somebody in our Locked On Mavs listener reached out to us via text and said, I used to work in an eye clinic. If it was actually detached during the season, he should have gotten taken care of because more hits can make it worse. So that's not great. But he said that it's not a terribly painful surgery. You have to lay down on your face down for X amount of time. He said, I've seen people stay face down for over 2 weeks.
Just never moving?
I guess.
Oh my God.
Because you have to keep your eyes looking at the ground.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to stay face down for over 2 weeks. That is absolutely insane. What would you even do for 2 weeks? You just hold up with an ankle right now and you're going crazy a little bit.
I mean, that sounds actually terrible because I imagine they don't want you watching TV. They don't want you doing any of that stuff. If you think about it, they probably don't want you looking at any bright lights.
If you're dealing with that right now, and if you're Anthony Davis, you can listen to the audio program on Apple, Spotify.
That's true. I'd be listening to the podcast of topics I didn't even care about.
YouTube music, all that kind of good stuff. But with Anthony Davis, though, it's interesting. You want to wildly speculate and be like, well, that's why he's been struggling to shoot from three. It's like he had struggles last season. But I think to me, what I took away from this is Anthony Davis did put it all out on the line last year. Played through injuries, tried to come back early. It's admirable to see him do that for this franchise that he just got dropped into, didn't ask for it, didn't ask for all the stuff that came with it, with him being in that trade and all that. And honestly, respect the guy because dang, he put it all out on the line. This is another way where he probably had some uncomfortability with his eye, didn't really know what it was, and just kept playing through it.
Yeah, I mean, this is why, I've got a ton of respect for the dude. He thrust it into a impossible to win situation for him. And, I thought he played well, and I'm excited to see him as a member of the Mavericks moving forward. It's not his fault. He didn't make this trade happen or anything like that. So I never really appreciated some of the some of the stuff I saw going his way never really felt fair to me whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, we knew with the stomach thing that he had, the abdominal thing that he was dealing with, him, you know, it's an interesting thing because, you know, Lakers fans have even told me this, that he gets hurt a lot. Yes, he misses time. Yes, he goes down with apparent injuries, you know, frequently during games. But he does play through injuries, and he does try to be out there, and he does, you know, go 100% to get out on the floor. So I've never really doubted that. And this one's just interesting because the reporting on it. You know, I just think Shams is usually sensationalist with this type of stuff. You know, remember what was it? The Dereck Lively injury. Didn't he all but say he was out for the rest of the season? Or Exum? I forgot. One of the Mavs injuries. He said he was done for the season, and then
it was. I think it was Exum, where we just expected him to not play, and then all of a sudden he was back again. So
right. So and then you had the Aaron Gordon grade 2 hamstring strain, and then he played the next day. So I think he can be a little sensationalist with this stuff because my understanding is if it was a full detached retina that happened during the season, that they would have had to have gotten it fixed within days, or else you're talking about full blindness in the eye entirely. Is what how I was seeing it described.
Do you think shooting with one eye is different than shooting with both your eyes functioning?
Have you ever done that?
Your depth perception is all messed up.
Depth perception is terrible. I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, who knows? Maybe he comes out next year to shooting lights out. And it's like, I just couldn't really see that one eye.
That'd be nuts. He goes 40% 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
But if he shoots 40% from 3, honestly, the Mavericks are title contenders. Like,
okay, if Anthony Davis shoots 40% from 3 on the season, I'll donate $1,000 to a charity of Anthony Davis' choice.
I'll double it.
There you go.
To Anthony Davis. We'll donate it to Comedy Central for Anthony Davis's next prank war special.
Mind you, his career high from 3 is 34%.
What was it in the bubble playoffs?
Bubble playoffs, it was 38. But I mean, still,
we're getting there.
Bubble playoffs was the mid-range. The mid-range was like automatic.
It was. And that's the swing skill that I think is interesting for him. But yeah, with Anthony Davis, I just think that's my takeaway is just we'll see on that. And you just hope he gets healthy through the offseason. Like, this is another thing. And I really hope he's healthy going into the season, because if he's not, you start the season with basically like Cooper Flagg with some good role players, but like Flagg is in the focus of your team for sure. It's a very different team than if it's Anthony Davis at full strength coming back, feeling motivated.
I mean, this won't be a good team if AD's hurt to start the season. Like, it just won't be. That's just the truth. So, I mean,
they'll be competitive, I think. But it'll be one of those things where you're competitive until the last like 5 minutes, and then games get blown because who's going to step up in that moment? Who takes pressure off of who? Because Anthony Davis would take pressure off of Cooper Flagg, take pressure off D'Angelo Russell. I just
I mean, knock on wood. I don't know what. I'm not like you said. I'm not a doctor. I don't. What could
I'm not a doctor, so
I forgot I had this one.
I don't know.
It's amazing.
What could happen for him to not be ready by training camp? Like, from everything I read,
with the eye,
everything I read, and people were saying that this is like kind of like what you were saying, a pretty straightforward procedure that you recover from like kind of quickly.
Well, yeah, and we have months, right? I mean, it's July, August, September. I mean, we got a couple months.
Yeah,
maybe like
So I'm not being put that
10 weeks.
I'm not putting that energy in the universe. He'll be back, and
and the reports.
You know what my prediction is? We'll start the season, or we'll get to training camp. I'll be like, oh yeah, remember that eye surgery? Like, that'll just be one of those things.
It's gonna be. Oh yeah. It's going to be a footnote on the Anthony Davis story for the Mavericks. I mean, the Shams report specifically says he is expected to be healthy for next training camp. So, great. I mean, and that's so I guess we learned something. It changes not that much. Maybe changes my respect for him, right? Like that he played through something else through all this and through last season.
I just wonder how it happened. If maybe
he got smacked in the head a bunch.
He got smacked in the head, yeah. But I'm wondering, when did they decide, like, all right, maybe we should look into this? You know, if it was just like this lingering eye pain, and then they were like, all right, maybe there's something more to this than we thought, or did they know and they're like, hey, you're gonna have to get surgery on this at some point, and then this was just when they hammered it out? Like, I'm interested by that.
If I was really good at this job, I would come out and be like, Nico Harrison putting the players on the line with the training staff that wasn't ready and prepared, that wasn't qualified. You should start going off.
But you don't have to do that. They're already doing that on Twitter.
I mean, they're good at their jobs. You get paid now on Twitter. The real
you get paid
question,
a lot.
the real question in all this for Anthony Davis, slightly. Does he need to go goggles? Do we need full Kareem goggles now?
Goggles. What about just like an eye patch?
Do they have clear eye patches?
I was just thinking that. Just like, I just need to protect this one eye. Can you give me a clear eye
a
patch?
clear eye patch.
I'm sure they could invent one.
Someone is listening to this show being like, did these guys just talk about an eye for
Hey, somebody in my chat today said that Dwight Powell needs to teach the team how to take hits to the face safely. Like how a quarterback coaches will bring in baseball players to teach quarterbacks how to slide. They need Dwight Powell. 30 minutes of the first practice of the season.
Take a hit to the face. Ryan Nembhard did mention, he's like, I know of Dwight Powell from the Canada stuff. I haven't played with him, but I'm excited to learn from him, and that's probably one of the things that he was excited to learn is how to take a hit.
I wasn't expected to hear that. A Dwight Powell shout out from the rookies. It's like, yeah, I'm excited to play with Dwight.
Well, they're both team Canada.
No,
guys.
I know, but that would be hilarious if Flagg said that. If Flagg is like, I'm like Dwight Powell's a guy that I've looked up to for a long time.
Dwight was also working out in the corner during practice today. So
Hey,
sometimes I'm like, does he live here? You just come
Face
in
of
and
the
he's
team
just,
in a
just
lot of
always
ways.
there.
What is it, fourth longest tenured player in the league? I think.
The whole league.
Yep, something like that. It's like Steph, Draymond, Giannis, and Embiid and him.
And Dwight Powell,
Yep.
who was in the Rondo trade. Coming up, I went to practice today. We heard Cooper Flagg is a sicko. And I'm going to tell you why. That's making me really excited. Coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Monarch Money. Monarch Money is going to help you because as you get older in life, and I know the demo of this show, we're all getting older. We're all getting to that point. You got so many things to track, all kinds of stuff, different purchases, subscriptions. You've got, like even services that you're paying for, all the Ubers, all the different things that you're paying for. And you've got 401k, you've got mortgage, you've got student loans still. God, do we all have student loans still? You've got savings account, credit cards. It's hard to try and manage all those things with all these different sites, all the different bookmarks that you got to put in a browser. Like, who wants to do that? Monarch Money can help you with all that. It's more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track accounts, investments, spending, all in one place. In addition to managing your money, you start building wealth. You build the wealth with Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Half off the first year, the whole first year. It's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
Sometimes I miss the kid drops. I just need another kid drop in my life. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every day. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. I mentioned we had somebody text us. 214-643-8637 is the line. I'll try to respond to as many of those as possible. And we send notes. We send rumors. Any rumor that I ever hear or see, I'll send it to you guys. And I sent a bunch of notes after practice today. And one of those things that I sent to that text line is that Cooper Flagg, according to the Mavs Summer League coach, who's assistant coach for the Mavericks, Josh Brockhammer, said that Cooper Flagg on July 4th, they had to kick him out of the gym. They had to keep him out of the gym on July 4th and tell him to go home because he was trying to work out on July 4th.
Love that.
Cooper Flagg is a full sicko.
I mean, he's clearly not a patriot.
You think so? Is that that's the takeaway from this?
That's the takeaway. Cooper Flagg, communist? Anti-American?
I heard he brought his own projector and he was going to play Independence Day while he was working out of the facility.
Yeah, that's actually the hidden story is that he had a bunch of fireworks on him and he wasn't allowed in the facility.
Yeah, you can't set him off. So coach said he's one of the first guys in the gym. You know, we've had to make him sit down on July 4th just because he wanted to be in here working already. They talk about his work ethic, talk about how much he wants to get better, how much he just loves being out there. And that's what you want out of the best player on your team eventually.
Yeah, I mean, from all of the draft lead up and everything, that was like a lot of people I talked to and stuff was like his motor was like the number one most exciting thing about him. It was all the physical traits and everything, but he just plays 110% every second he's on the court and just endless and relentless. So that's not really surprising to me. I mean, look, a lot of this is PR. Like, a lot
But
of
it really happened.
Right. And that's good. I mean,
Hey, Cooper, can you show up to the practice facility doors and just knock on it for a social video that we're about to do on July 4th? You can do it on July 3rd. We'll tell everybody it's July 4th just to make it seem like you're really locked in.
absolutely genius. If that's, I mean, I'm here for that. That's
Should
the type
hire
of-
us.
That's the type of propaganda that I'm here for. But no, yeah, I mean, if it feels good, we'll never have to question Cooper Flagg's commitment or anything like that.
Nope.
That's from what I can gather. That's what everybody has said about him. Duke coaches, Duke teammates, anyone who's ever been around him. So that makes me excited because even it's one thing to hear like this guy's in the gym 24/7.
Gym rat,
yeah, he's a big gym rat. He's the first guy in, last guy out. But going back to him in high school and where he was at Duke and then throughout the year at Duke, you can see him in real time getting better, like quickly and learning things quickly and being good at skills and good in roles that weren't really expected out of him that early, especially like Duke. Like him becoming a 30% usage guy at Duke was a surprise to a lot of people. Like that was a huge growth.
That he was handling the ball a lot, that he had a high usage.
And 40% from three too. Like that was just indicators of massive growth for him. So you see it, like you see the improvement. So, I mean, it's just, I'm so excited to watch this dude play basketball, man.
If he fails, it's not going to be because he didn't try.
Right.
And because he didn't try to get better and because he didn't work on it and because he didn't, assess what he needs to work on and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
He's going to put the work in. And I think that's exciting for a player you're going to build around.
Yeah. I mean, that's like you said, that's what you want. I mean, that's what you want your leader to be. That's what, not that he's your leader immediately, but that's in the future, that's who you want your leader to be, lead by example type of dude. And, it's, you hear stuff like that and it's, how can you not get excited?
That's right. Cooper Flagg also seemed to be really excited about Jason Kidd's mandate to handle the ball a lot during Summer League and was asked about it. And I'll tell you, he does not brag on himself very often. I listened to everything in the pre-draft process. I was literally standing next to him in the post-draft process as he was going through all these things. And he said about handling the ball in Summer League, he said, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Coach Shire, his coach at Duke, trusted me a lot last year. I handled it a lot. In the half court, I handled it a lot. Setting up a lot of different actions. So I think it's something I can do at a high level. So I'm excited to do that and experiment and try new things. For him to say that's something I can do at a high level, that to me is saying a lot. He doesn't say that very often about himself, about a specific skill.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying. The fact that he was a 30% usage guy that quickly at Duke, I mean, they ran everything through him. They did a bunch of different things. They had him coming off screens. They had him pick and roll ball handlers, setting screens. Like he did everything. So that's what I'm excited about is seeing him in that role. And I want to. It's important because Summer League, right? It's your first look at these guys, and you're so excited, and it's hard. You've built up these expectations, and one way or the other, there's gonna be insane reactions, right?
Oh, for sure.
It's funny because I'm going back and looking at Summer League. I mean, a lot of top picks, especially guys who have the ball a lot, I've noticed, struggle mightily in Summer League. Or at least their percentages aren't good. The efficiency is not great. What I think is good. Brunson was terrible.
Brunson was bad. Trae Young was really bad.
Horrible, yeah. What I think is interesting is this looks like a pretty good roster for the Mavs in Summer League. And usually, God bless all these guys, usually the Mavs are just thrown out. I mean, you watch it and you're just like, what do the Mavs have out there right now? While other teams have like third, fourth year NBA guys that are kind of dominating.
Did you see any of the Jazz versus the Jazz versus Grizzlies game last night?
I saw Bryce Sensabaugh had like 40 points.
There was like 10 actual rotation players in there.
Yeah.
Like the starting lineup for the Jazz all played rotation minutes for him last year, plus Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
It's wild to see some of these. And then you see the Mavs, and a lot of times, like you say. But right now they have Cooper Flagg. They've got two-way guys in Miles Kelly and Ryan Nembhard, who we'll talk about a little later. Melvin Agenso is a second-round draft pick last year, played professionally overseas. And then they're bringing back Jamarion Sharp, who's just as tall as ever. It's so wild to see.
What is he listed as?
He's listed as 7'5".
Jeez.
It just doesn't compute. I was standing under the basket while he was doing a dribble, a post drill, and it just doesn't even compute how tall that is.
Anything past 7'2" is just like
even 7'1" to me is like,
yeah.
Shaq is 7'1".
But like I can imagine Shaq. Once I hear 7'5", like my brain doesn't compute. I'm just imagining like literal giants.
I'm picturing a ladder, just like just a ladder.
I'm like, so the hoop is 10 feet, 7'5". Just trying to map it out of my brain.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Cooper Flagg handle the ball a lot. And that first game, it sounded like Cooper Flagg versus Bronny. The hype is going to be insane. I was there for the Lonzo Ball debut. I was there for the D'Angelo Russell game winner. Like, I was there for Victor Wembanyama at Summer League, and those are all hyped. And this one is about on par with those.
I mean, one thing you got to give credit to the Jameses for is they are a hype machine, man. They just are. The league's gonna be worse off when LeBron retires. That much is certain. Because I mean, let's get serious. Like Bronny versus Cooper Flagg. That realistically shouldn't be like this huge.
You
like
say it
hype.
like that.
Well, I'm saying it's usually like Dylan Harper versus Cooper Flagg.
Yeah,
Number 1 and number 2 pick.
Yeah, right.
And this is like Bronny, who's played well in his summer league games from what I've seen. Like I think Bronny could be an NBA player, but it is just funny, like the level and differences between the prospects, at least going into their rookie years. And it's just like this hyped up, like we gotta see Bronny versus Flagg. What's like the real NBA equivalent player of that? It's like tonight on TNT, D'Anthony Melton versus
Davion Mitchell versus Mitchell versus
Jason Tatum. Yeah. It's like what? It's like when the team's all injured. Like when the Mavs were all injured, it was like Dante Exum was a picture of the TNT.
Oh yeah, you're like really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. No offense to Dante Exum. Coming up, let's hear about some other guys. Talk to Ryan Nembhard as well, and I'm interested to see how he fits and how he fits under this team. There's some interesting things said about him, especially how they want to use him. Let's talk about that and more coming up. All right, Slightly, we're talking about NBA Summer League. Went to practice today. Heard from Cooper Flagg, heard from Coach, and then also talked about Ryan Nembhard. And I want to talk about him a little bit because I think he's being not talked about enough. He's measured at 5'11" with no shoes at the combine, and that's just like an immediately non-qualifying trait for somebody in the draft. It's very wild. But then you see the Kyle Lowrys, you see the Fred VanVleets, you see Chris Paul, even like you see these guys. There have been very successful NBA players that are 6 foot or just a little bit under 6 foot and get away with it. Like, Trae Young, throw him out there. Even throw Brunson, who's maybe like 6'1", maybe. And I don't know. I asked Ryan Nembhard about his height specifically because I'm sure he heard it the whole time during the draft process. He didn't get drafted. And so I'm sure he heard from people, his agent and others, about his height. And I asked him about it being a factor. And he said, I've been kind of dealing with it my whole life. So at the end of the day, I am who I am. It is what it is. I'm not going to grow much more. he's like, I think I'm done growing, which I found really funny. And then he said, I'm probably done in that sense. So I'm just going to build on this opportunity that I'm getting. And I feel like at a certain point, the height won't be talked about anymore. With those guys, all those guys that I mentioned, we don't really talk about the height anymore that much. It's mentioned sometimes. You have the Darius Garland conversation with, LeBron and KD recently, but what does he have to prove? Like, at what point do you get to the point where you don't have to prove anything about the height for an NBA player?
Well, I think the thing about all the guys you mentioned, Kyle Lowry, Chris Paul, is those guys, those guys dig deep defensively, and they've had stretches, even flashes of being like great defenders despite their size. So Nembhard's going to have to tap into something like that, I would say, to be like a consistent NBA rotation player or even cracker rotation. Like, at 6 feet, you got to at least compete at a high level defensively and be scrappy and, just be annoying, really, is what it boils down to. And if you got to go the Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry route and just flop and be annoying as hell all game, then just go that route. That's fine. But
how many all defensive teams do you think Chris Paul has made in his career?
4?
9.
Oh, Jesus. I really, you scared me when you asked that question.
9! That's so many.
Well, how many times have you led the league in steals? Like 6?
And now you caught me on the spot.
But anyways, like
steals per game, 6.
Well, there you go. I think I did know that. That's why I said that specifically. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to turn into that, obviously, but I'm saying.
But we're asking the question, like, at what point does height not matter anymore? That's not talked about anymore. Is you have to be defensively be that good, or at least hold your own enough, because that's the whole reason why height is talked about that much, because you can get picked on so easily if if you're small like that, right? It's the reason why the too small like gesture celebration thing became a thing, is because guys kept scoring over smaller guys.
Yeah.
And then now they do it on centers and it makes no sense. But
yeah. So I mean, if he could dig deep on defense like that, yeah, maybe there is a pathway. I think if he just grades out as a below average at best defender and bad to terrible defender at worst, he's going to have to be kind of like a Tyus Jones-esque. I can come off the bench 15, 20 minutes, just lead his offense, lead his second unit, get us good shots every time down the floor, and give, our starting point guard some rest. That would be the pathway for him. But I mean, everything I've seen from this dude, he's a really good basketball player.
Yeah.
Like he is. He's just a really good, really smart basketball player. The unfortunate reality of this sport and the sport at the NBA level is like, there's just certain physical prerequisites. And in order to sort of go against that, you have to be absolutely incredible, which is why, like, in recent years, I've just kind of used to get sucked into these like pre-draft, like smaller guards, just because they are so fun to watch in college and stuff like that. And they usually are, like, you watch college basketball, a lot of these guys can't create for themselves. A lot of these guys can't shoot. Then you see like the 5'7" guy. It's like, who's that guy? The Kansas State guy, something Powell or something. I don't remember from a while back. It's like, this guy should be in the NBA. It's like, he's 5'7". This guy will just never make the NBA. Like, that's just the reality of the situation at hand.
Marquise Powell.
Yeah, that might be it. Something along those lines. But
who's the guy? Poppy God Pierre something. What was his name? Oh my gosh.
You look at the Grizzlies. What's his name?
It was Pierre Jackson. Remember Pierre Jackson played
Pierre
for
Jackson.
them?
Yeah, I do remember Pierre Jackson because he was weirdly enough like really good in 2Ks for some reason because he was so small and fast.
He had a moment and people were like, "Oh dang."
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for the guy, because again, he's
100%.
He looks like a really good basketball player. It's just, for these small guards, you have to be really, really good. Like, really good. That's why they say these small guards are always like the most skilled players. They have to be. They have no choice.
Yeah, you have to. Something has to take you. Like, you don't have any. You can't hide anywhere.
Right.
Right. Like, you can't just be big and hide on somebody. So, Coach Brockhammer was asked about playing positionless basketball, something Cooper Flagg mentioned at his introductory press conference. And he mentioned Nembhard, unprompted, as a guy who can play on and off the ball. He said, we have multiple guys. Guy like Ryan Nembhard, he can play on and off the ball. He doesn't just have to be a point guard to impact the game. He can play off the ball. And that's what you're talking about. You have to be skilled. And you have to be able to do multiple things. And you have to be able to, obviously hit threes. And you have to be able to score off secondary actions. And we know he led the college in assists. So we know that he's got that. And he's got the playmaking.
Yeah. And I love that's how our coaches view it, the summer league coaches viewing it, because that's the direction the NBA is headed towards. And another thing, for Nembhard too, is like, yeah, he's gonna have to be somebody who can catch and shoot, somebody who can attack closeouts. Like, it can't just be hey, I'm here, give me the ball. Like, I have to run the offense. I don't really have an off-ball game, So I think 40% from three last year is what he shot in college, which was a huge uptick for him. I think he was 32% as a junior, 40% as a senior. Yep. So we'll see. Sometimes those, and I hate to say this, but sometimes those shooting ticks in college can be a little misleading. But I don't know, his shot looks fine, and just the type of player that he is, I can foresee him being a good 3-point shooter and playing off Flagg. But this will be really interesting. I think it's kind of important, and in years past, I've hated that the Mavs haven't done this. I think it's kind of important in summer league to have a guard like this.
Yes, always. Yeah.
Because you watch some of these teams that's like, my God, they can't do anything. This is like the worst and most hideous basketball I've ever seen. And it's like, who is this? At that point, it's like, who is this even good for? You know what I mean?
You know what? It kind of felt like, I guess they had it a little bit, but the Dereck Lively Summer League team.
Where Hardy was the point guard?
Hardy was put as the point guard, and then you had like Mike Miles kind of in there from TCU as one.
Yep.
McKinley Wright, who was a two-way at that point, and you're just like, man, it's like, it just doesn't feel like they have the one guy to set everything up.
That's the one where I'll give a pass, where it's like, we have this kind of combo guard or something.
They tried it.
Right. We need to see if he can do this. And it was pretty clear and obvious that he could not. Because that was brutal.
That was a tough one. I was there for that one too. That was a tough watch.
Well, last year, did you go to last year's?
No.
I don't even think I watched a second of Summer League last year.
Do you think between the two of us we could name like 5 players on the summer league team last year?
Oh, Max, for sure. Because I remember being disappointed in what I was witnessing.
I remember being disappointed.
Gortman, Jazz Gortman for sure was there.
Jazz Gortman for sure. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, there's some names. There's
Melvin
one that's
Ajinca? Wait, was Melvin Ajinca
yeah,
there?
one playing this year. Yeah, Melvin Ajinca. Yeah, Jazz Gortman.
Dereck Lively did not play.
Lively did not play, obviously. Sharp, our guy Jamarion Sharp is back.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And was Lawson on the team still?
AJ Lawson was on the team. Yeah, I remember he played well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was basically the team.
Yeah, I mean,
our guy Alex Fudge. Alex Fudge, who had the front row seat to the whole finals run.
Yeah, shout out to Alex Fudge. I genuinely don't know if I watched a single game, but then I also remember being like, well, Max looks not great. So I guess I did.
You probably streamed every game, to be honest.
Probably. I don't remember any of it.
Do you ever think like if you have kids that your life is all documented? Like there's so many things. Like I think about if we go back and there's hours and hours of me like talking about basketball and dumb things, but like all
that is kind of crazy, especially because you've been doing it for what, 8 years?
Yes.
So yeah,
since 2017.
It might be like you have a whole decade plus worth of.
I'm getting there.
Stuff.
Definitely before I have kids. There's.
I think that's kind of
a decade.
I've actually thought about what you're saying. I think it's kind of cool, actually.
Me too.
Like I do think it's kind of cool, unless it's like
until somebody makes an AI of us, because there's so much of an example of our voices out there.
Yeah, I mean that's always
the scary part of that.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. But unless you're doing just some like ungodly type of content, and I'm not even meaning like, I'm just meaning like horrible, disgusting, like
if you did Locked On Heat.
Yeah, exactly. Locked On Heat, Locked On Lakers.
If you had to cover Dwayne Wade, like if you had to like pretend that Dwayne Wade was like the savior of your franchise, like,
Dad, why did you say that about Dwayne Wade in 2009?
Okay, we'll go back to this video in 2011. Also the one in 2006. Also this documentary from this referee. Like,
I mean, we're really, there's just no way in hell kids 12 years from now are watching YouTube. They're going to be on some form of 1 second.
I don't know. I think we would have said that because YouTube started in like what, 2008, 2009 ish, maybe 2000. Was it 5?
But I feel like YouTube's audience is older though, you know, compared to like TikTok or YouTube Shorts.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
They're going to be watching like a 1 second version of YouTube Shorts. It's only going to be 1 second.
See, I think it'll overcorrect and we'll go back to like long form because it went to like everybody's watching TV, everybody's watching these 30-minute things, and then all of a sudden podcast came out and it was like, oh, everybody's listening to an hour. Now it's going back, and now we are to the extreme where it's like a minute. That's on TikTok. True. But then there's people that watch long TikToks now. You ever watch the SB mowing guy?
If you're on TikTok posting longer than 60 seconds, you're out of your mind. I like that. That really pisses me off when I see like a 9-minute TikTok.
Well, you got to post more than a minute to get monetized for a lot of people.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah.
So you can't get monetized like a 15-second if it goes
viral.
viral.
Some of them can. Yeah. But
interesting. My TikToks are all, my TikTok For You page is just cats. So yeah,
I was going to say,
that's seriously just cats. That's it.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. This is a Nick and Slightly special. Perfect way to end this show. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be breaking down the whole Summer League roster, talking about everything you need to know before I head out to Summer League. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. Go check out Slightly Biased. Great YouTube channel. All kinds of good stuff there. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
Boom.
That's right.
10 years ago, DeAndre Jordan.
Doing what? In the getting held in the house?
Yep. 10 years ago today.